Hello everyone. It is a great pleasure to be a member of the 8th International Conference of Contemporary Affairs in Architecture and Urbanism. Our contribution will be about biophilia. We're going to see biophilia from a sociological and environmental theory becoming an urban and architectural approach. So, since the existence of man on Earth, he has lived from and in nature. This relationship has evolved and also changed over time from a simple and strong link of food, of habitat in the first centuries, to a more complex border relationship between production, culture, and human civilization, represented by the urban world and the elements of the natural world. The city nature is the result of a double movement, an urbanization of natural and agricultural environments, and ruralization, naturalization of the city. This relationship between the city and nature does not only concern the link between two different spaces, but also between a society and its natural environment, more precisely between each in-housing and their living environment. So we are going to see a double facet of city-nature relationship, starting by the city in nature from rupture to articulation. So since history, the city and agriculture have been two inseparable worlds, the latter often being located around the city to satisfy its need for fresh produce. At the end of the 20th century, and with the acceleration of urbanization, agriculture, agriculture is marginalized, although it offers a pleasant landscape which reflects the social practices of the inhabitants. It is competed with that of the forest and the lakes. These abundant agricultural spaces have become over time virgin nature spaces. The second aspect of this relationship is that of the companion. The link that holds together the city and the countryside is not recent. It is based on different social and political perspectives. This link is manifested by two major figures. The city includes theoretically representations of the countryside, such as agricultural grounds, and the second figure of the positive link is based on an urban representation of the countryside as a place of rest and relaxation for the inhabitants of city. Gradually, the opposition between the city and the countryside fades away. At the end of the 19th century, the Garden City was born as design of a small-scale city formed of housing intended primarily for working populations, the place of implementation of an urban utopia of modernity. The city in the countryside, it is the beginning of the transition from a situation of rupture to one of articulation. The improvement of transport conditions today encourages the return to countryside of city dwellers in search of calm and greenery. Second, nature in city from green space to landscape preservation. Several urban planners have tried to bring the city closer to nature, but each in their own way, like Ibn Zuward and his Garden City, the landscaping project of Jean-Claude Nicolas Frostier, Tony Garnier with his hygienic perspective, and the famous Cascade House built by Frank Lloyd Wright. In 1933, the Athens Charter gave a primordial role of green space in urban composition, that of hygiene and preservation of public health, marginalizing its aesthetic quality. Today, nature has two faces. It has both a heritage and cultural dimensions and an objective reality supported by scientific ecology. Since the development of the new Athens Charter by Council of European Urban Planners, which marks a complete break with the 1933 version, the natural environment has been considered as one of the support of sustainable development, which requires conservation and harmonious and respectful management. With the acceleration of urbanization, population growth, and poor management of natural area, several species and natural elements have disappeared, or are at the risk of being destroyed, and which take millions of years to regenerate. This directly influences the biological balance of the entire planet, thus represented a significant and irreversible threat. In this respect, nature under its new vision of biodiversity is considered as a collective heritage for the human community, which must be imperatively protected and passed on to future generations. The theory of biophilia. In the first centuries, man considered nature as a resource to meet his needs for food, clothing, housing, etc. This vision has research involved in parallel with thinking and needs of a human being. In 1993, Wilson introduced the theory of biophilia based on the reality of the existence of genes and behavior of attachment to nature and natural processes by human beings. Human biophilic behavior. In 1993, Keller determined the behavior of the biophilic human through a typology of interactions and experience of nature. He identifies nine values recognized in nature. In an evolutionary process of the previous typology, Kellers in 2014 brought together the two experiences, aesthetic and naturalistic, in a single section. Given an example of a symbolic experience, who refers to the use of nature's symbols to communicate. The biophilic design, urban biophilic design and architecture. Urban planning, biophilic urban planning seeks to build a relationship between natural elements and the built environment. In addition, it is attempt to interrupt the understanding of biophilia in urban and architectural planning and design. At the building level, the elements biophilic are those that can be integrated on, in, and around the building. Street scale are those integrated into and along streets, roads, and sidewalks. City scale are larger in size and likely to be fewer in number. In architecture, biophilic design serves to balance human needs with the value of consideration of natural elements and processes, and integrates aspects and qualities of these elements into architectural design. Given an example of nature in space, which is a direct experience of nature, like natural light, air, vegetation, animals, water, landscape, etc. Nature in space addresses direct physical and ephemeral presence of nature in a space or a place. This includes plant life, water, and animals, as well as wind, breezes, sound, session, and other natural elements. So we have a visual link with nature, invisible link with nature, non-rhythmic sensory stimulations, thermal variability and air renewal, presence of water, dynamic and diffuse light, link with nature system. And now we're going to see the natural analogies, which concern biological, non-living, and indirect evocations of nature, objects, materials, colors, shapes, sequences, and patterns found in nature. Limitations of shell and leaves, furniture in biological forms and natural materials that have been transformed or altered, wooden boards, granite worktop, etc. We have in biomorphic shapes and patterns, material linked with nature, complexity and order, and we are going to see now the nature of space. It is about special configuration in nature. It is about our innate and acquired desire to be able to see beyond our immediate surroundings and our fascination with the unknown or slight danger. like perspective, refuge, mystery, risk. And now we're having design elements and patterns and the biophilic patterns in different scales: building, block, street, neighborhood, community, region. And we are going to finish by solution of biophilic, which seeing the latest trends like the aquaponics, which is an ancestral cultivation method for that combine plants and fish. Green walls and an oasis in the middle of the city. Natural materials are all range. In terms of interior design, we have green paint, natural lighting, plants, and we are going to finish by morphism, mimicking the random patterns of nature. It is the art of modeling objects or reproducing patterns and shapes that are reminiscent of nature and living organism. In architecture, it is the facade or the entire structure of the building that can imitate nature. Thank you for your attention.